This is my friend Thackeray, and I'm Grandma Malari. He likes for me to read him books. Don't you? Today I thought we'd read this house called My Home because we're all staying at home these days. This is little Laurie's book. How sweet. If I were a deer, I would make my home in a forest that's shady and cool. If I were a frog, I'd live by the side of a clear and shimmering pool. If I were a bird, I would build my nest high on the branch of a tree. He's a bird, but he doesn't live in a tree. And a small busy hive would be my home if I were a buzzing bee. See the ladybug? If I were a gopher, I'd burrow right down in the earth so snug and deep. And if I were a bear, I'd find a spot in a cave for my winter's sleep. Look at that snow. Oh, growl. If I were a tiger, I'd make my home in a jungle thick with trees. And if I were a whale, I'd live and roam in the depths of the vast blue seas. Look at that huge whale underneath the ship. If I were a cow, I'd live on a farm with hens and hogs and sheep, and a big red barn with sweet-smelling hay would shelter me when I sleep. Looks like Thackeray's enjoying this book. If I were a horse, I'd live in a stable with a pasture near my door, and if I were a clam, I'd live in the sand on a white and glistening shore. Look at those kids playing on the beach. But I'm not a clam or a lamb or a frog or a bird who lives in a tree. And I'm not a horse or a hen or a hog or a little brown gopher. I'm me. I can't live in a cave as some animals can, or high in the branch of a tree. And I can't burrow down in a hole in the ground or live in the depths of the sea. But I could live in a home on the top of a hill in a cottage beside the shore. And I could live in a house with a big front porch and a garden near my door. I could live in a trailer that moves all about the beautiful countryside. That'd be fun. Or I could live in a houseboat that drifts slowly by on rivers so deep and wide. I could live on a farm in a house that's small near fields of golden wheat. Or high in a building that stands so tall on a bustling city street. And that kind of looks like our old house in the condo, 208. Do you remember? We used to live way up high. I could live in a cabin of rustic logs, high on a mountain top. Or in a bright, sunny room that stands behind a quaint little grocery shop. It doesn't matter. If my home's big or small, if it's brown or yellow or white, it doesn't matter at all if it's narrow or tall, or if it's pretty or bright. It doesn't matter at all if my home's on a hill or down by the deep blue sea, as long as it's filled with people I love and people who also love me. Aw, well, that's a good book.